right, let's call our meeting back to order here on Tuesday, July 19th, reconvening our council meeting after our joint meeting with the school board. First agenda item this evening is a public hearing for Atrium Medical Center revenue bonds. This public hearing is being held in connection with the proposed issuance of the City of Middletown, Ohio Hospital Facilities Revenue Bond Series 2016A, Premier Health Partners Obligated Group, for the benefit of Atrium Medical Center and to comply with the provisions of Section 147F of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 as amended. A public notice was published on July 5th, 2016 in the Journal News. The bonds to be issued on behalf of the hospital are revenue bonds payable solely from payments made by Atrium Medical Center and its affiliates. The city is acting as a conduit issuer, and no tax revenues can be used to make payments with respect to the bonds. Persons wishing to express their views on the proposed issuance of the bonds may do so at this time. I believe Mr. Sims is down from the hospital to just maybe give a brief overview. I know we got an update on this at our last council meeting for council, but maybe just a couple updates
so
on it.
Like any other prudent financer in the world, with interest rates being low, we're refinancing more of our debt, and we're structuring ourselves between Atrium and Premier under one consolidated group from a more financial advantageous position. So that's why we're doing it. That's what we're asking you for.
All right, thank you. Are there any comments from the audience regarding the bond issuance? All right, well, hearing none, we will close the public hearing and move on to the rest of our agenda. Mr. Atkins, any city manager reports?
Your Honor, given the time we've already spent with the school district and everything, I have nothing else to say.
All right, thank you. And Ms. Skank, our consent agenda?
For your consideration this evening, we have the confirmation of the personnel termination of Millicent Jackson, part-time bus driver, a proclamation honoring Dean Pratt's retirement, to receive and file letters of credit guaranteeing public improvements constructed as part of Hendrickson Road Extension and the New England Heights, and to receive and file an oath of office for Robert Merchland, Special Police Officer.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion for the approval of the issues and actions as listed on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Skank, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Bohannon?
Yes.
Mr. Moon?
Yes.
Mr. Picard?
Yes.
Mayor Mulligan?
Yes.
Ms. Bronston?
Yes.
All right, I have one citizen's comment card this evening. I'd like to invite Miss Rosemarie Snow down to the podium. Good evening. If we could get your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Rosemarie Snow, and I'm a lifetime citizen of Middletown. I am the daughter ruler for William B. Pollard Elks. I'm the gentleman that spoke last time. Mm-hmm. I'm like the female counterpart. Mr. Atkins said something that I was going to do anyway. Sometimes you got to let people know the good things that you did, you know, because they'll remember all the bad things. But sometimes you got to let them know the good things that you did. The Elks was over on 9th Avenue in the late 30s. In the 1940s, they moved in an old house. That's what it was. That's the way they did it. In the 1940s. They stayed there until it got to the point where you walked across the floor and you bounced. That's how bad the house was. They decided to step out and build a building. So, the city worked with them, bought a couple of lots. City worked with them as they bought another lot. City worked with them when they had all the Elks weekends, in July of every year. City worked with them for the parades. You know, we're used to working with the city. It's not like we're not working with the city. We've got to sign up in our building and say, let's work together. So my thing is, let's work together as we move forward. I've got a list here that it won't take me but a minute to read it, and if y'all want a copy of it, I can give it to you. Got a beauty and talent contest that goes nationwide. In fact, a Middletown young lady won it 2 years ago, the national. Oratorical contest, annual Elks Weekend, Pioneer Senior Citizens Dinner, Children's Christmas Party, Thanksgiving baskets, Christmas baskets, Elks Scholarship Fund, They just give the money to the school and let the school give the scholarship money to who they want to. We collected eyeglasses. We collected used cell phones for the battered women, collected school supplies, collaborated with what was then the Second Ward on the Multicultural Fest. We worked with them. We have an annual prayer brunch, a Mardi Gras, Southern District meetings, drill team, youth group, military units, civil liberties, which is the Veterans Department, Martin Luther King breakfast. That's another thing. We didn't have it last year, but we had it the year before. It was free. It should have been standing room only. The dinner was fine. The speaker was fine. Mayor Mulligan was there. I don't know if you remember sitting 2 seats from me.
Oh, yeah.
I have a problem with that. What is it about coming across town to something? I just have let's work together on things. I've got this list. If anybody wants to see it, I have it. People can tell us, like a couple of people said, well, somebody got stabbed over there. Well, yeah, somebody got stabbed over there, but do you know that the lady that stabbed her, the case was thrown out? They didn't know that. But it's like we didn't have anything to do with them running in there doing that. But it's like we're on trial for everything that happens over there. And when I say over there, I'm talking about that street, and sometimes even that side of town. It's like we're always on trial for something. I just want us to work together. We've been there too long. Our building is paid for. We don't owe anybody a dime for that building. I just think we've been working together in the past. I would like us to just keep working together.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming and sharing your comments this evening.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And with that, our motion agenda, Ms. Gang?
To concur with the Chief of Police to extend the hours for the designated outdoor refreshment area to include August the 6th, 2016 from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. and August 27th, 2016 from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay. Do we have a motion to update the designated outdoor refreshment area for August 6th and August 27th?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Ms. Gang, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Moon,
Yes.
Mr. Picard,
Yes.
Mayor Mulligan,
Yes.
Mr. Bohannon,
Yes.
Ms. Bronston.
Yes.
To consent to the sale of a vacant lot at 710 16th Avenue to Brian Revere for the sum of $500 in accordance with ordinance number O-2002-87.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Gang?
Mr. Picard,
Yes.
Mayor Mulligan,
Yes.
Ms. Bronston,
Yes.
Mr. Bohannon,
Yes.
Mr. Moon,
Yes.
and to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Building Crafts Incorporated for Phase 2 of the wastewater treatment plant, grit tank, and gravity thickener improvements in the amount of $609,500.
Do we have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Gang, could you call the roll, please?
Mayor Mulligan,
Yes.
Ms. Bronston,
Yes.
Mr. Bohannon,
Yes.
Mr. Moon,
Yes.
Mr. Picard.
Yes.
Thank you. That brings us to our council comments this evening. We'll start with Mr. Moon.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one quick comment. Last week, as Mr. Atkins mentioned during his presentation, there was a downtown Middletown master plan meeting for the community. For those that may not have been able to attend, you can go to their website, downtownmiddletown2016.com, and take part in much of the same feedback that those of us that went last Thursday can do. So if you're at home and you still want to participate, check out the website. That's all I have.
Good. Thank you. Mr. Bohannon?
Nothing tonight, sir.
Okay. Mr. Picard?
Thank you, Mayor. No comments.
Ms. Bronston?
I have a couple of comments. I want to thank Todd Moore, of course they're gone, from the school board who came out and was our keynote speaker at our Solid Rock Bible College graduation. And to see us all here tonight, we saw that there's such harmony between the city council and of course our Middletown School District. And I really like the comment that Ms. Snow made, let's work together as we move forward. And in light of the nationwide unrest that's prominent, everyone's talking about it, I can truly say that between our city officials, you know, the police chief, fire chief, our director of safety, our city manager, our mayor, we've all been talking about what can we do because, you know, improvement, we can all improve. what can we do to reach out? Have we been reaching out? Can we make improvements on any level of, personal touch, or whether it's a conversation or some kind of understanding? And I feel proud that the emails that have been coming across and the conversations that have been happening have all been talked about working together to move forward for change. And so I went to the Wounded Warrior event with our Director of Safety and our City Manager, Mr. Atkins, and thinking about my husband Lafayette, who was here tonight, how the people that have been in the news have been displaced veterans or veterans that have been affected by wars and those kinds of things. And those are issues that we have to be aware of. It blows my mind because I live with a wounded warrior, a veteran, and it's so different to talk about it. And when you live with someone and you go through the motions of their trauma, it's a different picture altogether. And so perhaps we can walk in each other's shoes more often and bring more understanding to our community. And with that being said, I think that ends my comments. And I think it was great having the school district here tonight, and maybe we should do it more often, Mayor.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just have a couple things to follow up on that. We want to commend the organizers of the Balloon Challenge. That was a great weekend. The Wounded Warrior, part of that Selection.com and Start Skydiving sponsored and really underwrote, was a great, really regional effort to pull that together, recognize many veterans, and do some great work for folks here in the area, and really highlights Middletown in a great way. They were really impressive in terms of what they did, and it was an honor to be part of that and represent the city. And I know we had a number of folks there. And then you brought up the movie filming. We're catching up with Hamilton for Middlewood, I guess. So we'll see what kind of fun comes of that. Some folks in our neighborhood had received letters about a month or so ago about possible filming in homes and things like that. And it wasn't what they were looking for necessarily, but I'm glad they found some space in town, and it sounds like that could be kind of a neat and exciting thing. So I saw some of that run around today, and certainly great for that. And I, too, would like to express my appreciation for our police department and our administration. In light of the national events that are going on, I'd reached out to Mr. Atkins to just touch base and make sure our communication lines are open. And again, we've been there, I think, at the forefront with our Citizens Advisory Board. And as Mr. Atkins mentioned in his presentation, the other outreach efforts that have been going on here in the city with our police department and our community at large. The National Night Out event is certainly a great event to really connect the community to the police department and really to others, but it's certainly a police department focus. They're certainly to be commended for their efforts, and I see a number of posts on Facebook that they're interacting with the community, and a lot of that goes unreported and overlooked sometimes. But I think in today's light of today's events and the most recent events, certainly I want to be sensitive to that and make sure that they're commended for those efforts. And with that, we can move to our legislation this evening. Ms. Cohen?
Thank you, sir. There are 5 items for consideration this evening, 4 of which we are asking to be considered as emergency. Prior to getting started, I ask for a motion to waive charter provisions regarding 2 readings and 30 days to enactment for the following items. Resolution R 2016-14, Ordinance O 2016-23, Ordinance O 2016-24, Ordinance O 2016-26.
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the charter that requires readings on 2 separate days and declare an emergency for the following resolutions and ordinances. R 2016-14, O 2016-23, O 2016-24, and O 2016-26.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Kate. Would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Bronston.
Yes.
Mr. Bohannon.
Yes.
Mr. Moon.
Yes.
Mr. Picard.
Yes.
Mayor Mulligan.
Yes.
Thank you. The first matter we'll consider is Resolution R 2016-14, a resolution to make adjustments to appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Middletown, Counties of Butler and Warren, State of Ohio for the period ending December 31st, 2016, declaring an emergency. This is the UDAG fund.
Okay, do I have a motion to adopt?
Second.
Okay. I know we had a presentation on this. Mr. Atkins, anything to add?
Just a little bit, Your Honor. The downtown facade grant program has been in place for several years, and we use the UDAG fund. That's an old 1980s HUD fund to fund that. We have two projects that are about $11,573 that have not met their grant applications, and we'd like to reallocate that. There are also a number of additional businesses scheduled to open up between now and the end of the year, and so we would like to take another $40,000 out of the UDAG fund and make that available to the facade program through the end of the year to give every opportunity for those businesses to develop and look nice as they open.
Very good. Okay. Any other questions or comments from council? Ms. Gank, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Bohannon?
Yes.
Mr. Moon?
Yes.
Mr. Picard?
Yes.
Mayor Mulligan?
Yes.
Ms. Bronston?
Yes.
The next matter will be ordinance O 2016-23, an ordinance amending the pay and benefits ordinance, ordinance number O 2015-62, and declaring an emergency.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Okay. Mr. Atkins, I know we heard about this last time too, but...
Your Honor, and I apologize to council for this. Under the 2016 pay and benefits ordinance, we missed, this is simply a clerical error, the uniform allowance for the treatment plant lead mechanic. It was in the budget that you approved, but we didn't put it in the pay and benefits ordinance. It has now come due and payable, which is what tripped us, that we had missed it, and we are asking for council to pass that as an emergency so that we can go ahead and pay it on time.
Okay. Are there any questions for Mr. Atkins? Okay, Ms. Gank, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Moon?
Yes.
Mr. Picard?
Yes.
Mayor Mulligan?
Yes.
Mr. Bohannon?
Yes.
Ms. Bronston?
Yes.
Next matter will be ordinance O 2016-24, an ordinance establishing a procedure for and authorizing an agreement with Branstetter Carroll Incorporated for professional services for the project to resurface airport taxiways and ramps and declaring an emergency.
Okay, do we have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Atkins, anything else?
Yes, Your Honor. Branstetter Carroll is currently the airport's designated aviation consultant under FAA guidelines. They are being retained to do the engineering for the $1 million grant that we got from ODOT that you approved, I believe, at the last meeting. It's a 95-5 split. The engineering's designed to be $118,200, and this is required to be able to utilize the grant.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Atkins? Ms. Gank, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Picard?
Yes.
Mayor Mulligan?
Yes.
Ms. Bronston?
Yes.
Mr. Bohannon?
Yes.
Mr. Moon?
Yes.
Thank you. The next matter will be ordinance O 2016-25, an ordinance enacting Middletown Codified Ordinance Chapter 1037, mobile food vending, and declaring an emergency. Would note no action is requested on this until August 2nd.
Okay. Mr. Atkins?
Yes, Your Honor, our existing zoning code does not contemplate the use of mobile food trucks within the city. We have had a couple that have wanted to come in here, and we've seen other communities, specifically Cincinnati, have done some really nice things with food trucks, so we wanted to try to get out in front of this. We are in the process of finishing your new zoning code. It should be ready this fall, but we have people in town now operating. We'd like to make sure that we did this ahead of time and had this one ready to go. We did this really for 4 reasons. Success often leads to imitation. One bistro had been in here and been successful. Chick-fil-A then followed them. Others are starting to take notice, and we want to make sure that we're dealing with it on the front end. Second, other existing local residents have raised the issue that that may create some competition for them, so we wanted to make sure that we dealt with that, both fair to the food trucks but also to our existing restaurants, and make sure that there's some balance there. Third, as we looked at other cities handled this issue, some used it not only as a health and safety regulation, but also as an economic development tool. Cincinnati especially uses them around Washington Park for events very effectively. We wanted to make sure we've given thought to that and handled that in a nice way. And fourth, we needed to address the food trucks on private property and how we were going to handle that. We have drafted this. This actually has been going on for 3 or 4 months now. I thought it would come to you, frankly, in May or June. But people kept bringing very relevant, good points to our attention. It's been down through DMI a couple of times. It's been out to One Bistro and a couple other food trucks. It's gone through a lot of iterations, and this is now, I think, the final version that seems to hit that balance between good economic development, protecting the health, and DMI is happy with it. The the restaurants are happy with it, built some good things in. I think it's ready to go now, and we'll be asking for your help on August 2nd to pass that and put that in place.
Okay, any questions from Mr. Atkins?
4 different levels of fee requirements. So those were brought out from other locations that you've dealt with?
They were. Cincinnati's is actually almost double that. And Cincinnati kind of talked to us about it and said, yeah, but we're at it, like Washington Park has no restaurants the way they described it. I haven't been down there, but they don't have anything down there, so they had some different things that allowed them to charge more. And their suggestion, talking to a few other cities, was that we back that off. If we were truly trying to recruit them, that we make enough to cover our costs, but we don't make it a barrier to coming here in a productive way.
And they have to get permits whether they're on public property or private?
Correct.
Mr. Atkins, I think you make a good point there that in my opinion, we shouldn't try to create an impediment for these food trucks to come here. I think they're going to bring a completely different type of people downtown, which is where this district is going to be.
Right.
So I'm glad you said that. And then the only other thing I had was you mentioned you had talked to One Bistro and some of the other food trucks. Did they provide feedback already? And I assume it was positive, and they were.
They did, and generally they were supportive. They had 2 or 3 things they had concerns with, and that gave us a chance to go back and forth with them and tweak it in a way. And then when we talked to the restaurants, when we talked to downtown restaurants first, it was like, oh, keep them out. And then they started talking and learning that no, actually, again, you're talking about bringing more people downtown. And when you're working on downtowns like that, the idea is to build a cluster of entertainment, food, drinks that brings people downtown. And you hope that, when they're downtown, what you want people to have is, hey, it's Friday night, we should go downtown and we'll find something down there that we want. You just want to be one of the things that's on their list of things that you want to do downtown. If you're Murphy's or you're, One Bistro or whoever, at some point you'll go, hey, we did that last week, let's go to Murphy's tonight, let's do this week. And so we've tried, again, we've talked to the local restaurants and got their input, and this all reflects their feelings.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? All right, thank you.
The last matter will be ordinance O 2016-26, an ordinance authorizing the issuance and sale of hospital facilities revenue bonds, Series 2016A, Premier Health Partners Obligated Group of the City of Middletown, Ohio, for the purpose of refinancing certain indebtedness of Atrium Medical Center in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $90 million, authorizing the execution and delivery of a bond trust indenture to secure said bonds, authorizing the execution and delivery of the amended and restated base lease, an amended and restated lease, and an amended and restated assignment of rights under base lease and lease, authorizing the execution and delivery of a purchase contract, providing for certain other matters related to the issuance and sale of the bonds, and declaring an emergency.
Okay. Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
I know we had a public hearing this evening and an update at the last meeting on this. Any other questions from council, comments?
Okay. Ms. Gank, would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Mulligan?
Yes.
Ms. Bronston?
Yes.
Mr. Bohannon?
Yes.
Mr. Moon?
Yes.
Mr. Picard?
Yes.
Okay, our next item on the agenda is an executive session. So I need a motion on the authority of Ohio Revised Code 121.22G1 to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Ms. Gank, would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Bronston?
Yes.
Mr. Bohannon?
Yes.
Mr. Moon?
Yes.
Mr. Picard?
Yes.
Mayor Mulligan?
Yes. Following our executive session, we'll just be recessing the meeting to our next meeting, August 2nd, in these chambers. Thank you all and have a good evening.
Thank you.